Now, the rest of the story.
Well, this is us. And would you believe that we're getting as big a windrows as we are yet for this stuff being as far gone as it is? They're calling for 85 and sunny. And believe it or not, this is not the worst stuff I've ever made. Like baled wise and everything. The material actually doesn't look that bad. It's got some tough spots in it, but it's only 9 o'clock in the morning right now. The clouds are clearing off. I'm supposed to do this for like a week yet, but by all means, I have no intention of waiting that long of getting this stuff made. I should have maybe potentially possibly tedded it again yesterday, so that would have been a total of 3 times the bottom itself had been tedded. Maybe I would have gotten a little bit more consistency in the dry down, but I can tell you without a doubt, none of this stuff is going to end up under a roof. It'll be spaced apart and let it air out or do whatever it wants to do. And if I do have any funky bales that don't really want to keep, I'm still hauling them home. I'm still gonna put them out for the cows. Much like that stuff with all that cattails in it, we'll go through and just dump it out for the cows and they can knock it around and use it for bedding. But with the wind blowing, the sun is, I can feel the sun's really starting to cook already. This stuff, you give it to early, mid-afternoon, and we'll be fine. The plan is, I'm actually going to go run the New Holland rake. I don't have a lot to do with that. Maybe, I don't know, I think 5 acres is being generous that I got to hit with that. And then just because it's easier, it's not as awkward as the rhino rake in some of these tight quarters. And then I'm going to run back, get the 82 and the coon baler and everything on the bottom. I'm going to try to get baled with that, with the knives in it, to hopefully make this stuff a little bit easier for the cattle to process. I mean, that was the intentions right from the get-go. I mean, I would have really preferred having it been nice, fresh, green, healthy material, but I still think putting the knives across this stuff and then making it easier for the cattle to chew through it is definitely in my favor. The leaves and everything are still intact. It's not like it's moldy or anything yet, which I almost can't believe. But it's not like you're going to be feeding this to dairy cattle, but especially on a dry year, you really don't get a choice to be overly picky. You're going to get what you're going to get. But I may seriously look into getting as a liquid molasses or QLF. I can at least get a few jugs of it from the local feed store and actually set a bale up on end and dump it on. I think I've actually done a couple trials. I've shown it on doing that on this channel before in older videos. That's maybe something I'll do to try to keep a little bit more protein, more interest, more sugar in this feed when I'm dumping it in for my cows, because the feeder, my fence line bunk is done. I haven't put any hay in it yet, but I'm looking forward to using it, and then having bales that were processed across, with the material that's being pulled into it, hit with a knife, so you're not getting as big pieces, not a lot of long strands. And setting it in that fence line feeder, I'm hoping that's actually going to really make a nice feeding situation for my cows for this winter. And the goal is to get done and get gone. We'll get this raked up today, hopefully get it baled up today, hopefully get it hauled out tomorrow, get everything taken home tomorrow. I'm gonna let this stuff sit outside on the concrete, or I'm gonna space it out like I've done in the past, because we hauled in the bales off the bench here. They've been sitting out for 2 weeks. I took a load home yesterday of stuff that just wasn't going to keep. It was still green and everything, but it was warm to the touch. So if you feed that right away, the cows will mow right through it. And then everything else that I stuck inside is probably going to be my better quality stuff. I'm just still watching it for heating. As you notice, he's not opening that up all the way because the windrows are still pretty impressive for this stuff being on the ground as long as it has. So you can go ahead and guess again how many bales we'll have down here. We had 46 the other day, and I still think we have a chance at 150. We might push 200 yet, I'm not sure. But I did lose the part of the lower bottom. Well, all we can do is bale it and see how we make out. We're in a spot of the field. This has been raked for maybe an hour. I just got done raking with the 40-20. This, a little bit of moisture there yet, you can see. And if we go another, 11:30, I wasn't planning on coming down till about 1, so another hour and a half with this heat hitting it. Allows that to breathe, a little air out, at least make something. I mean, you wouldn't have believed that it would look like this, or that he's pulling up windrows like this. And that's not even winging it all the way out. That's a 28-foot wide disc. Wow. Rake wide open, and I'd say he's maybe got it open 16 feet, maybe 20 feet, maybe. But the problem is when you've had as much regrowth in it as you have with these wheel rakes, they do pull up all of the green new material. But as I said, this stuff isn't going to be going inside. We'll hit it with that coon baler with the knives in, and all of this, the leaves and everything on it. It didn't flood down here, which I'm really grateful for. I was told that within a week ago we had like up to 4 inches. Some areas around here have had up to 4 inches of rain, and if this would have flooded, it would have been a loss. But I mean, call me stupid, but it's not outstanding feed, but it's a lot better than what we were potentially looking at. He doesn't have a whole lot left up here. The lower bottom won't take very long, not as long as this, because this is more like, I want to say oval shape, but your passes aren't super long. The lower bottom is much longer and not as wide, so you're actually making longer passes. And I'm gonna go talk to him quick. I'm gonna take the 40-20 and the New Holland home. I gotta pull that 82 out and look that over quick. And the goal is to be done baling today, which I think is well within reason. Don't get me wrong, we're gonna have some of this stuff that's it's gonna be set aside and put right to the top of the list of feed that needs to be fed out. And I can see for how wet this was, there's moisture right there yet. That's very obvious, but it was wet through this whole piece. There you go. Very good example of farming the hillsides. Which I'm fully in the opinion, the mindset, I'll take what I can get off this and I'll just make the feed work. That's all I can really do at this point, so not much point in being too depressed about it. And I can't exactly leave this stuff sit here, because for how much is here, that would completely wreck my first cutting for next year. That'd just make it a nightmare.